So we want to start from the beginning by cloning and installing the big data integrator. Which
almost worked.
Yeah, which almost worked. So now I'm cloning it. Afterwards I will run the install script.
Right, so you can start it with DRC up. That should be good.
So the application is starting now.
As soon as it's started, you can go to the integrator UI. That should be started. All right.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna open a new window. Okay, so we're on the integrator UI.
We will create a new stack for the pilot as soon as I think it's still loading in the backend. The data must be loading.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, that should be good. Alright. So we will create a new stack for the pilot. Which is, do you have it there?
Yeah.
Yes, alright. So, this pilot contains several Apache Flink programs that will produce, consume traffic data. The producer will read the record from a file and write them in a Kafka topic. The consumer will then read those records, separate them into cells, and compute the number of records in each cell. That's about it for this pilot. We will then show the results on Kibana.
I just clicked launch pipeline, which then brings us to the pipeline view. And then after pressing up, we shall see some services starting, but there are really a lot of services, so it takes
quite
a bit of time. This is also the pilot for demo case as is, so it's a real complete pilot.
Alright, it is taking its sweet time.
Yeah.
What we will do while some of the services start is to show you the stack builder as soon as we see some of them starting.
Yeah.
So that
should be any moment now.
Alright, one of them appears to be started.
Oh, which one?
Fourth one, the zookeeper.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. So the other ones will also shortly follow.
Yes, okay. In the meantime, we'll show you quickly the stack builder and what it can do.
Yeah. So this is a stack builder.
It contains a list of Docker Compose configurations. This one is the one for the pilot.
Yeah. One of the things, so this is actually just a Docker Compose file, the text as is. I think we all know that, but still, I'm scrolling through it because for the demo I will show it. The labels logging through means that this service is being logged.
And its HTTP traffic will be stored in Elasticsearch.
Yeah. Then you have this thing where you can look for big data images. There's also one that contains of more than one image, I thought. Yeah, this one, Flink. And the idea is you can just take them and, well, let's scroll down here. So I should have taken a smaller file to show this, but this ends with Kibana. If I drag and drop that Flink one, you will see that Flink has been, so Flink worker has been added, and a Flink master as well, because that's what we took. They always take the most common configuration. I could also, for instance, add something with Hadoop, and this is basically the same thing. And the service just gets added as is. And if you would add, so this is a service Hadoop base. If I would add labels logging equals logging equals true, and then this service would also be logged. That is basically the stack builder functionality. We have stuff like related stacks, where you can see other stacks that are just as this one. This one only has the pilot SC4, because, well, that was where it was created from. There are also workflows, but this one has no related workflow. And I should be able to go to
the pipeline there.
To the pipeline.
And everything should be ready by now.
Okay, so I just refreshed.
Alright.
So the node manager and the resource manager are not up. Sometimes it happens with this pilot that these two services don't automatically start, but if you then start them,
there shouldn't be any problem. Possibly there just depends on missing somewhere in the configuration. That's, yeah.
They basically need the database to be up, and if the database doesn't respond, then you need to restart them. But that happened. Okay, so now the pilot is running as is, and we started it with, so to recap, we started it with the Big Data Integrator. It was just cloned from the GitHub webpage. If I would now go, I will just open a new, from time to time I'm the biggest idiot around.
I'm there, you know. Right, so if you go to localhost 99999, we should have the integrator UI for the pilot. Alright. So, let's start with Flink, shall we? Alright. So, Flink has currently only one worker assigned. What we can do with the pipeline, the Swarm UI, is to scale up the different services. So we will add a new worker.
Oh yeah, sorry, I took the wrong.
It's alright. It shouldn't be needed for this case because we will only have 2 tasks working, but it's still a pretty sight to see.
Yeah. Pipelines, yeah, sorry. It
should be on the right. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Right,
so we're looking for Flink worker here.
There it is.
Yeah. And the thing I will do is I will upscale it to 4, for instance. Remember, this is in the Big Data Integrator. The integrator UI on the right is the one where the pilot is running in. So this is just to show that there is a working connection between the two of them, and you can control, as you should, the big data components from the Big Data Integrator instance.
So it is currently starting some new Flink workers. It takes a bit of time for them to communicate with the Flink master to say that they are ready to process tasks anytime now.
Okay, so now they're there. So you see, I scaled up to 4. Maybe for the real demo, I should only scale it up to 2. That goes
might
quicker.
make it a bit faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have 4 workers now, as promised. The next thing we would do is go to the monitor.
We will go to the monitor to see the different steps of the pilot. You should be able to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'll leave that one up.
Yes, yeah, that's good.
So we have the monitor here. As you can see, the CSS overlay really works perfectly on the. This is the Flink. This is BDE core component. So those are the steps that are defined for the pilot case. As you can see, set up HGSF. This has happened.
Yes, indeed.
Now we need to populate the HGRS with core data, so I'm going to do that. This will reveal one of the issues we still have and we haven't been able to fix, namely U doesn't really support iframes, so that's still something that needs to be accessed on a separate port.
This is the first time you log into UA, so of course you will have to create an account. Then we'll simply load the data that is loaded with the pilot.
Yeah.
If you go to File Browser, that should be on the top right. There it is, AGFS browser.
Is this one of these?
I think it should, yes. Yes, yes it is. Alright, so now you can do upload or you can drag and drop your file. It's
Upload.
So you need to go in app BDE IDE, data from admin, then the ID of the pipeline.
Yeah.
And you can take the three of them.
So these are datasets with taxi movements. I just uploaded them. Pom pom pom. So the main thing after this is
well, now that the data is loaded, we just need indeed to mark the step as being done, and then we will see that the producer will start its process on Flink. It will take a few seconds for it to get started. Once it has actually finished its process, the consumer will be able to start.
you should see it's starting already.
Indeed.
The producer.
We'll keep the Flink monitor on the left so that we can see what happens, and in the meantime, should we maybe show the workflow builder?
Yeah, we can do that.
Maybe on the right it should be, yeah. So you go to integrator. Right, so as you can see on the left, the ingestion of historical data has started. So
one slot has been taken.
Indeed.
And it says here indeed what it does.
So the workflow builder will allow you to easily configure the different steps of your workflow, as the name suggests.
Yeah.
You can give the order in which the different steps need to happen. For example, either the steps that mark the process of your pipeline. So, for example, the database needs to be started. This service needs to be configured. This will yes. Right. Yes. Wait. Yes. Okay. Yeah, perfect. For example, yes. PubDB.
Yeah, and then suppose you would have to populate the database before starting. You can still drag it around, and basically this is how you would build a workflow with the workflow builder. And the workflow builder, it corresponds to this workflow again. So this is a workflow that is being executed.
Yes.
As you can see, the task has been finished, so completed jobs, the ingestion has happened. Now it still needs to aggregate it, and that's what you see here. The floating car data consumer is now started. This thing automatically, so I didn't click on anything. Switch to finish.
This, however, needs to be done in your service itself. It needs to check if it can start through the init daemon. It needs to warn when it started executing, and it needs to warn when it stopped executing, so that other steps can get started.
Yep, and that is documented in the init daemon documentation. So now
the consumer has now started. It will keep running forever because it's just waiting for new data to be inserted. But it should, in a few seconds, be done with ingesting the existing data, which has been produced by the producer. We can now go to Kibana. So if you go, yes, there. So we will need to create the index pattern for this, the data that's been inserted, which is Thessalonica. Yes, perfect. We also need to import the dashboard that has been prepared. So you go to Yes, object import. Its name. No, in this one, it's named Thessalonic dashboard.json. Yes, perfect. Alright,
Okay,
cool.
and
So now you can go to dashboard. As the index for the data that we selected is the timestamp of when the data was collected, we need to go back in time quite a few years, because I think the data comes from 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, let's just go 15 years ago, and it should then discover the data, which it does. So here are a few visualizations that have been prepared. So we can see the different cells and the total number of vehicles in it during the interval, which is from, I think, around 840 to 950, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
All right. So we can immediately see that one of the cells is a lot more present than the other ones. We will be able to see that in more detail in a few seconds. So we have here a map of Thessaloniki in Greece, and if we count the different number of cells, we should discover that the seventh one is the most populated, which appears logical as it looks to be in the center of the city.
Yep.
There are of course other links that could be proven, but this is just to present the BDI platform. So we will now switch to the Kibana of the BDI platform itself.
Yeah, this is to show that we are also still logging the network traffic of the containers itself. So this is a different Kibana and different data. This image has been stored automatically, so we don't need to index.
Indeed.
We can just go to dashboard normally, as is, and here we can see that we have 215 head method calls, 204 posts, and then about 400 something gets. We can also see that it's the database, and all those kind of things. So I guess that is basically the demo that I intend to give.
Indeed.
And well,
thank you for your attention, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.